All right, so we're going to do a quick website analysis for GreenHome Institute. I said I'd do this just because it'll get us into a clear state of mind as far as what is necessary for your site. So just right off the bat, like we talked about, you've got Enfold working for you, which is the WordPress theme. It's a really good start, and it keeps things kind of in clean lines. It's a lot harder to mess up, and it's really easy to customize. So any changes that you've made since it was originally designed, they tend to stay within certain boundaries, and that makes it a lot easier to manage. So as you can see, I'm sitting here and the slider is just going and going and going and going. We discussed how sliders really aren't that great for mobile anymore. There's a lot of resources out there discussing why sliders just really shouldn't be done anymore. I think partly, we talked about sliders take longer to load and there's more pictures to load, so it makes it slower on mobile. Google will dock you for that a little bit. Overlaid text also can be slower to load. And now I'm sitting here and to me, I feel like, I don't know, like the slider's just going and going and going, and I feel like, this thing is just kind of like, it keeps going, I want to like put it away and not see it anymore. So that's not exactly the best reaction. And I'm sitting here with it just like this, so of course that's not your usual user experience. But what I've been suggesting to clients when they ask me for a slider is I say, like we should really work with the graphic design team to come up with a banner instead. That would have targeted language on it that gets me as a potential client, whether that's a business or a person who's building a home, into the mindset of you understanding what I'm going through and what I need from you. So we usually use what I call you language. So, like we're here to help your home, or your home deserves to be LEED certified, or find out how you can make your home a Green Star certified home or building process. And so you're using that you language so that I know you're talking to me and that you're thinking about me. And then I can dig more if I want to find more about you. And then we usually include a call to action there as well. And so it might be an image, but it'll probably be an image with some color background and some language therein. So that's my first suggestion. Okay, so as we scroll here, GreenHome Institute empowers homeowners and professionals to make healthier, more sustainable choices in the places we live. This is great, and that really gets me into the mindset of, okay, like you're thinking about what I need to know right off the bat, and it's a very strong, powerful statement. So I think this is great, and I think it's placed really well. If we were to do a banner, we might consider moving it down a little bit in lieu of having a different call to action right below the banner, but that's something we'll discuss at a later point. Okay, so we have 3 calls to action right away with icons. So assist several types of residential certifications, provide education, and support better homes for all. I love that you say you assist in certifications. I'm assuming this is the more B2B geared, although maybe this as well. I don't see a distinction between any of these for either B2B or a homeowner, and I want to see that because I think it's just not targeted enough. So I don't know, like if I'm somebody building a home, do I need to sign up for a class, or is that something that a builder would sign up for? And so right off the bat, I feel a little unclear here. So I would suggest coming up with stronger language, more you phrases, and maybe even the buttons with stronger call to action. So yeah, I don't want to just kind of come up with it right now because it will be sitting here for a while, but I think we need stronger language there. Okay, so I'm not sure why this is here since there's going to be a whole about page. So I think you can just remove that header and say green is growing, find out how to get your project certified. And so this seems much more of the B2B, consumers and professionals. So I like this, our featured sponsor. So that gets me kind of thinking like, oh, there's sponsors. That's interesting. And then that makes me start thinking, okay, are they a nonprofit 501c3 or are they for profit or what are they doing? And so that's as yet unclear going through the site. So consider that presentation as well, because I want to know that immediately. That gets me into the mindset of how to approach you and assuming how you'll approach me. Otherwise, this graphic is good. I have to read a little bit, but I think I don't think it's terrible, especially because it has a little bit more information here. The only thing is, it says find out how to get your project certified, and this isn't clickable, and I don't see a link over here either. There should be a button or something that says get that information or something, and there's not, so you have a call to action with no action, and so you're losing opportunity. See more in the blog. Okay, so this is a link, but I don't think I would have realized that it was a link. I would do, there's a easy module that this theme provides that we could have it be the star color, but it would be see more on our blog, and then a separate button that says like go there now, or read more, or get resources, so that I would understand that this is a fully separate thing. Right now it looks like a divider, so that might be a little bit useful. Feature news and projects. So I'm assuming this is featured images from the blog, which is very nice. I would love it to be just like a little bit more obvious. So featured news and projects, and then over here we have these calls to action. I feel like they don't really go together, like news and projects and getting things registered. I like the alternating columns. I'm just not sure about this layout. I'm kind of confused as to why these calls to actions are here when we have like featured news next to it, and then the calendars are here too, and I don't know why there's a calendar next to your blog, and so I'm kind of really confused on these. I would say that these need more information in order for me to understand what they're for. As a know-nothing audience, I wouldn't necessarily understand like, okay, so like you do classes, that seems to be the case. But I don't feel anything about it. I don't feel like you're here to help me. I don't feel like I know what the classes are about, or if they're for me, or if they're for somebody else. You know, if I'm a homeowner, are they for me, or are they for professionals, or are they both? Why do you teach classes? Are you teaching classes because you're a nonprofit or for-profit? Are they sponsored? I'm just like kind of really confused, and I don't think that you're like, of course I'll look at your analytics, but I don't think that this is a strong place to go unless I was already at your site before I'd already had an idea of what it was, and in which case I would still have it laid out differently and further up on the page so it would be easy to find and go to. Which, I mean, we do have it up here, get involved in events. It's like right there right away, plus you have my account. So I'm not sure that this is a good use of space. Plus here, sponsors, I'm assuming, but they seem really random. So I think the sidebar needs to be overhauled a little bit right here. I wouldn't suggest having a load more on the home page. You get into infinity scrolling, but again, probably not a problem. Okay, and then footer. Okay, subscribe to our mailing list is good. We've got a call to action. Definitely want to be collecting emails. A quick about us is great. Oh, and voila. So now GreenHome is a 501c3. Okay, so now we know, and that's great. And I don't think we discussed this, but we do give 501c3 discounts, so that's a good thing to know about. I don't like these blue separators. I think they're too thick, and they just kind of like bother my mind. The blue and the green, because it's Kelly green and bright blue, and I think that's just a picky design thing. So I don't think it's that important to change when we're talking about conversion issues. So we're just going to ignore that for now. Okay, so Holland Challenge. We talked a little bit about this. So this is a little bit of a wall of text. We don't have a header up here. We don't have an image up here. So when you have about 2 seconds to get somebody engaged on your page, it's literally 2 seconds before most people bounce. An image is the best thing that you can do. So in Biggest Loser Challenge, having that be the first image that I see, that's where my eye goes beyond anything else. And my brain goes, oh, that's something negative. And I don't want your customers to see something negative as the first thing they see on a prize. So a prize should be something positive. Holland Energy Prize, the Biggest Loser. I'm like, okay, well, I don't, you know, are these like funny, like saying these are our worst houses in the neighborhood? I know that's not true, but you know, I'm coming at it from a know-nothing audience, so I'm trying to be as critical as possible so that we can like get around anybody who might not fully understand. Okay, and then these are obviously sponsors, and then we're coming back down into this sidebar here. So I would have a nice big header here with a nice image, and then bump all this down. And then here, before we start getting into gold level sponsors needed, if I had come here from the homepage and the only place that I saw where it was really obvious that you're a nonprofit organization and you need sponsors is in the footer, I probably would not have seen it. And so then coming here and saying sponsors are needed, I'm confused. So I would definitely put some text above this, so like bump all this down and put some text here, a quick little paragraph that says, we're a 501c3, we need sponsors to support our programs and classes, and click here to read our sponsorship prospectus so you can understand the benefits of becoming a sponsor. That would make a lot more sense, and it would really drive home that need for sponsors in the first place and make me as a potential sponsor feel like it's really easy to get involved, because here's a link right here, and then look, all these sponsor logos. I could have my logo there too. That's where I think like the advertise here is a really strong part, but you need the prelude of giving me the understanding as to why you have sponsors and how I could get involved. Okay, the rest of this is, it will look better with a big header and a big image. I'm still not so sure about this image, but if it's bumped down by like a picture of somebody winning their prize, I think that that will help. Spanish version, that's really cool. How to win, so I would have all these be like all capitalized, so like the T is a the T2 is a preposition, so I don't think you need to capitalize that. Same with I, but the W should be, and same here, because it's kind of like a header. So, yeah, and actually I realized I was hovering over this, and that's a link. And I missed it completely. This isn't a strong call to action. I think it needs to be much bigger. So I would do a header, an image, and then have this be a big call to action, and then have the enter below be a scroll down to here. So let's see what happens when I click it. No, I'm going to a different page. So now I'm on a different page. Is this the same form as the other one? It looks similar, but it's not as messy. So that's confusing. So I think there's a lot of opportunity here to clean this up and make it stronger with regards to calls to action. Prizes, I think this could be laid out a lot nicer too. I would definitely actually like lay it out in a larger way with like maybe boxes and modules, so that I feel like it's almost like they're tickets, because the prizes are what I'm most interested in, of course. And you want to be kind of proud that you have this arranged. Okay, and also, you know, it's not obvious to me, are the prizes coming from your sponsors? So that's not obvious either. I'm trying to go quickly because you've got a big website and I don't want to just kind of like numb your brain with all of these suggestions, but I think we do need to make some changes with regards to calls to action and arrangement to make it a better flow and better for people who come here wondering what's going on. Okay. And then these two should probably not be two separate columns. It could be, I don't even know if it's, I don't know, this language needs to be cleaned up. And this form we know needs to be cleaned up. It's a little bit just messy. So, okay, there's that. One page down. So let's go to get involved. So we discussed this as well. There's no image here. So I like that there's a section where there should be an image. I think the layout is good, but I would put an image here, and then I'm not really sure about having this text here. I would put this text probably down here. So get involved, be centered over an image that compels me and connects me right away, because I don't understand what I can get involved with. So what, okay, so I'm scrolling down, we're talking about membership and volunteering. We've got an extra horizontal ruler here that isn't necessary too, so we should remove that. Spacing here is an issue. So, and then I could get my product seen. So I don't know. I would say get involved could be an image of two people shaking hands, or a gathering. So like I would assume membership might have meetings. Or your events would be a membership. So I think that I think I need an image here in order to better understand what's going on. And then here it makes sense to have these. It makes a little bit more sense on these inner pages where I've already obtained some information, as opposed to on the home page. They're still a little bit out of place, and I still don't understand. So like I want, even on an inner page, I still want something like our sponsors for whatever. Obviously I know these are sponsors, but I want just like a little line up here, like this little title for this calendar that tells me what the calendar is. I want to know what these are. Like, why these guys? Why do these two guys get to be the logos here? Why don't they rotate? Why don't they change? How do I get my logo there? Stuff like that. Yeah, and actually you're talking about get involved, and registering is an action like getting involved. So they really have a better place here on these inner pages for sure. The rest of it isn't bad. Member benefits, is this to a PDF? No, becoming a member. And I don't know. I need to look at a sitemap before we make some decisions, because there's a lot of different pages that aren't top level linked, and they're really not. They should be down here in the footer. You should have a sub menu in the footer, either down here or in one of these columns, maybe replacing the Facebook. You could have a Facebook Lite button like right under here, and it won't bump down the footer anymore, and then have sub pages here. Because there's a lot of pages that aren't top level linked, and I'll get lost. And if I'm looking for something really fast, I won't be able to find it. Like if I want to become a member and I don't want to jump through hoops in order to get there, I'm going to be confused. So let's talk about a submenu somewhere. We could even do a submenu on inner pages right here. One of my clients does that as well. So we could have a submenu over here. I think we need to discuss a submenu though. There are just so many pages on this website, and that's fantastic, but we got to get something organized. Otherwise, we're just going to confuse the heck out of everybody. I'm confused, and I'm a professional. It's not that bad. It's not as bad as all that, but like I said, a submenu will just ease it up really quick. Okay, professionals, same thing. I think we need an image here, and then the centered text looks really clunky, so I think let's move down the text and we'll design it a little nicer. So it'll just be professionals overlaying an image, text down here. And then you said we are, I think, APIing this in. This is generating from a different place. What happens when I click this? it seems to be nothing. So I don't know why these are linked. So maybe we need to talk about that. These arrows are hard to see and they don't do anything. So, and then does this do anything? No, it just highlights when I hover over it, which is kind of nice. And then the rest of the border, so when I zoom out, does the border come back? No. So, okay, a couple little like designy preferences. How does this work? That does organize well. Okay, so that's good. So that's functional. So then what do I do? What do I do then here? So think about that, because there are no phone numbers and there's no emails. So what am I supposed to do here as somebody who wants to contact one of your professionals? Let's consider that. Okay, onward to learn. Okay, banner, word over a picture. This text is actually not bad because it's all one paragraph. It's not returned, so it doesn't look that bad. So we could even consider leaving that text over the image, although, just as a caveat, it's really nice to do the same thing on every page. So if we're going to leave no text on the other images except for the header, and that'll be the only thing overlaying the image with the introductory text below it laid out nicely, then I would do the same design on each page. It keeps me feeling like you put thought into the design, and it builds that trust with me. I know what to expect on each page. I know where the critical information is going to be. So I think I'm going to remove my statement and say, let's take this off of what image we'd put in the background, just for consistency. Okay, giant buttons. We talked about this page. It's all buttons. So yeah, we want to break this up for sure. There should be white space between these two, and then we should have some more images on here. These should not be full width. This would be a great place for those calendars, even. Especially, like, I don't know if Learn and Events needs to be separated if we're talking about your events being mostly the education ones. Or maybe check out our upcoming events be at the bottom because it's kind of secondary to the learning. Like, if the webinars and the classes are on the Learn, and then the events is more like meet and greets. I'm thinking kind of like what Local First does, where there's like membership meetups that aren't educational, they're just like networking. That's secondary to the learning. That's just a networking thing, a get to know your local builders or get to know your neighbors thing. I would have the check out our other events down here, and then it's up here anyway too. So let's not even have this button here. I would rather see a quick snapshot of the calendar that I can then click into and see more about, or a list of upcoming events, of upcoming classes and webinars, so that at a snapshot I know exactly what's going on. And yeah, we talked about it's kind of like a wall of green. So I'm assuming this will be further developed when there's actually classes. But I recall you saying there's no classes scheduled yet. I really think you should put something on here saying that. First of all, this should be a design page. It shouldn't just have some text on it. So there should be a header, there should be a picture, no matter what. And then below those two things would come this column and this column. And then it would say below are our offerings, and maybe in bold or centered. And then in between these two, because this is like kind of like an aside, in between here say, we currently don't have any courses scheduled because it's summertime. So then I understand, okay, it's summer vacation, everyone's gone, they know that, so they're working around my schedule. I'm probably a parent or a teacher. And so I actually feel like you thought about me and decided not to schedule any events because you knew that we just wouldn't be around. So that would make me feel like this isn't just a blank page that is not cared about at all. I'm going back over to Learn just to see what else is going to become a certified professional. I would probably make these smaller, or integrate them into a designed banner. So at this point, I would do not just an image background, I would do a designed banner that incorporates these three because they take up like the full page. So I don't even know there's going to be text below that. Ooh, there's like a lot down here. Yeah, this could be, I like where this is going here, but it needs to be organized better. I think it's good to have the form, but you got to get me there. I'm giving it actually more time already. I've been on this page longer than probably your average Joe coming through your site, and I'm going to be confused, and I'm probably just going to bounce because I feel like I don't know. Is this the right organization for me? Is this really where I want to go? Like, is this necessary to have the quizzes here? I don't know. You know, we need to talk about it more, but this page requires a better flow in order to get me inside of it and saying, okay, like, yes, this is for me. This is something I want to do. It will be useful to me for this reason and this reason. It will advance my career in these ways. I want to sign up. Oh, and there's a button that says sign up now, and it shoots me to this form down here, and I just need to sign this form. Okay, sweet. And it says when the next certification classes are, so I know how to plan, and I've got what I need to do. So we need to go over this page with a fine-tooth comb and reconsider what's on it and how it's organized. Okay, so we talked about this as well. There's no current upcoming events, but there will be more at some point. I would really love it to say something like that, like, hey, we're just wrapping up summer vacation, so there will be more events coming in September. Stay tuned. Or we were talking about email capture. There are no current events. Events resume in September. Enter your email address to get event alerts. That would be the perfect solution to a blank event page. So we'll do that. Okay, so yeah, background image with this overlaid and moving this text down. And then we're talking again about a wall of buttons with extra horizontal rulers for no reason. And more information here. So these, I really think that we need to consider who is your most important client? Is it the B2B or B2C? And then reorganize the site based on that, so that services, like, if B2B is your most important client at this point, and that's who you're educated and that's who you're serving, then all of these links need to be more geared towards B2B with B2B language, and then B2C links in your submenu. That would probably help organization and flow significantly. So let's talk about that. And I need more information for all of these before I click on a button. It takes a lot of faith for somebody to click on a button on your site. It may seem that that's such a simple barrier to entry. It's like, oh my God, all you have to do is click. People don't want to waste their time. And if they're not 100% sure that that is the button they need to click on, they're not going to do it. So I think each of these should have a call to action explaining what I'm going to find when I click that button for all of them. So let's put together some of that language when we do our next consultation. Okay, so background image. I thought I saw something fishy. Okay, so look at this here. This is all caps header, and then this is not. So all of your other banner areas, at least most of them I've noticed, are all caps. This one's not. So again, we're looking at consistency of layout. We want to correct that. So we'll make sure all of them are capped, and then we'll move this down below here, image here. And then we need to talk about, that would make us 3 paragraphs. So maybe move this down, but have it be like green bolded, centered, and then I would honestly do maybe another image. Or do you have certifications? We're talking about certificates, we're talking about logos. LEED certified buildings have different logos on them, so we could have like a LEED certified platinum looking logo right here, so it bumps the text over, so it breaks it up a little bit more. Something like that. So join us goes to get involved. Again, this is not obviously a button, so I might suggest making it a side-to-side call to action like we discussed. And then these I really want to fix. So meet the staff, meet the support network. I don't like the way that these columns are structured at all. I think, like, are these guys staff people? Their phone numbers are not local, so I'm assuming not. So is Brett the only staff person? So then I would make this bigger. I would just rearrange this. The columns are confusing me. I don't know if this is a header for this because I'm not used to reading side to side. I'm used to reading top to down. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but with websites, I'm used to scrolling, which means I'm used to going vertical to up to down. And then this should probably be bolded and centered because it's more of a header. And then that makes these guys make sense. So yeah, I mean, because like this is like the support network, and then this is more of a header too. This guy's going way off into nowhere, so we need to talk about having a return here. Email protected. Okay, that's good. Email protected is great because, you know, spam. Now this is much better. So now the header is here, and now I'm used to saying, okay, so here's the header, and below it is what I'm looking for. Although now these names are different sizes than these names, and some things are bolded and some things aren't. So again, consistency of design is not there. So let's consider that. This could be great to just have italicized. It tells me that my brain that it's an aside. Usually italics mean this is an aside. It's a little bit of information at the bottom, kind of like terms and conditions or a little bit of background information. So I would just italicize this so that it just makes it a little nicer for flow. Okay, contact. So many pages on the site. We'll totally fix it. I know it sounds like a lot, but we'll get it done. Oh, you're in the ICCF building. Oh, okay, great. I work with them sometimes. We worked together at let's see, when was the last time we worked together? It was a gift camp, I think. Anyway, okay, so great little map. I honestly would put the map above here because the map is kind of like a banner image. And you can make it full width here, and they'll bump down the sidebar with it, which makes it just kind of all even. I would love some information as to why I would contact you and how soon would you respond. What should I expect when you respond? That sort of thing. Okay, and then blog. I'm not going to touch the login in my account because we discussed this a little bit. There's some issues there, so let's just kind of ignore that for now. Okay, so the blog looks really messy, and it's really easy to fix. Right now you have the blog set up so that, well, now this one's a read more. See, that's, okay, so the best thing to do with a blog is to have, I would love to see a banner up here too, actually, with like an introduction to the blog as far as like what things are you writing about and keeping up on, and maybe even a sign up to follow and get these posts in my email. I know a lot of people get email and they're sick of getting email, but for professionals, they might want these. We should always be using the read more. So you should have a read more right after here, and then all the rest of this text, I would have to click through to read. Same with this one. So every blog's layout is going to be a little bit different, and that's just because there's inherently different information for each blog post. And we're going to design them as close as we can to each other, but that's just how blogging works. It's just always a little bit different. So by having only like the first paragraph available to view, it's called a blog roll. So it's like the table of contents almost of the magazine. And and then you go to the actual page of the article to read the rest of it. So that will make everything look a lot neater here as opposed to right now where it's kind of like a melee of different organizations. And again, that's fine that they're all organized differently, but having them all on the same page makes it look really confusing. So that's what I would suggest, is doing a little banner here. You can look at Green Cup Design's blog. They're called articles, and you can take a look at how we have ours set up with a little banner above everything, so that gets your head kind of into the space of, okay, this is the type of blog I'm looking at, this is the type of information I'm going to be receiving, and oh, sign up to receive these in your inbox, and then you start to gather emails. Okay, we talked a little bit in our consultation about forms and class sign up and everything like that. I think you and I need to walk through that sitting side by side, so you can explain your full process, and we can choose which module we want to use, whether it's WooCommerce or RSVP or the forms module, and then make sure that the process is meeting all the needs of both your organization and your customers. So let's do that in person. I hope this was helpful and wraps your head around exactly where we should be starting, especially from my expertise. So like I said, your site has a good start to it, and I said that during our meeting as well. It's got a really good start to it. It just, after we get past the homepage, we start getting really jumbled. There's a lot of information, and it just needs to start getting organized better so that as we add to it and as we have more and more, it flows easier, people know where to go, they understand immediately what you're doing, and they feel comfortable with it. All right, I'll talk to you soon.